Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and in this video I've got a middle grade book haul for you. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit for the month of May, because in the month of April I tend to read primarily Amish fiction, so as a result I focused most of my videos on my Christian fiction shelf, and I did my Christian fiction book haul, and I was reading the Bible in 90 days, so I've just recently done a wrap-up of what that was like to read the Bible in 90 days, as well as my wrap-up of what I read in April. So now it's May, and I tend to read more middle grade books in the month of May. That is because back when I first started my channel 6 years ago, I learned about the Middle Grade May readathon from Ingalls. Now, you guys have already heard me talk about this. The Middle Grade May readathon is officially retired this year, but Elizabeth Tyree and I, who have both participated and co-hosted that in years past, have decided to continue to read middle grade books this month and just give a nod to Middle Grade May, encourage you to read some, and we are continuing with our challenge to read a book a day in May, or hashtag book a day in May, because we started doing that in May as well as Middle Grade May, because middle grade books tend to lend themselves to reading more of them in a shorter period of time. So that is my main challenge, and I did, though, just learn from Julia Baby Jeanne, who just recently has come back to her channel. She mentioned that she's in a Facebook group that's been doing Middle Grade May for about 4 years. I don't know if they ever knew about Ingalls and our Middle Grade May, or if they started it because of Middle Grade March and they decided to do Middle Grade May. I don't know. But it's still great that there is a group of people that are still doing Middle Grade May, and we're still doing Middle Grade May, just unofficially. So since May is going to focus mostly on middle grade for me as far as what I read, I may as well do some middle grade related videos, and it makes sense to start with a book haul because I have acquired several middle grade books. You've seen a few of them if you watched my vlog, my travel vlog. I did buy a few middle grade books when I was on my trip to Texas and back, and then I have acquired others just here and there. So I'm excited that I have found like the last book of a series. You know, I have several series that I have finished purchasing the last book that I needed to finish filling out that series, which means now I can complete reading those series, which is great. I also got some book mail. This I actually received, I will have to admit, I think I got this back in March, because the author sent it to me because it's a middle grade mystery, and I'm excited to have it. I haven't shown it to you yet because I was kind of holding on to these middle grade books for May. Of course, March, you know, I was focusing mostly on mysteries, and I could have shown it to you then, but it just made more sense to hang on to it until I knew I was closer to reading it. And I do want to sit down and read this book in the month of May. I'm excited because it looks great, and the author told me that he has written the second book, and it is in editing right now, or at least it was in editing, and hopefully will be published later in the year. So I'm excited about that, and hopefully he will send me an ARC. This is a finished copy, and it's beautiful. So I'm excited to show this to you. Like I said, this is a middle grade mystery. Look at that. This is Simone LaFray and the Chocolatier's Ball. It is by S.P. O'Farrell, and this takes place obviously in Paris. It's about a 12-year-old girl who works with her father in their patisserie, or their French bakery in Paris, and she is also a spy. So this sounds fantastic. I've seen really good reviews of it. It's not long at all. I'm excited to sit down and read this, and it's just beautiful. So thank you, Mr. O'Farrell, for sending me this. I appreciate it very much, and I'm really looking forward to reading this and telling you about it later on in the month, hopefully. So the other books that I have gotten, I believe a few of these, let me start with the new books. I got some of these from Book Outlet and also from Second and Charles. So and you guys have already heard me talk about this, I was just so excited to finally finish collecting The Tillerman Cycle by Cynthia Voigt. These books just got really hard to find, and these look like newer editions. But anyway, regardless of how old they are or whether these are new editions or not, I want to finish reading this series. I've read the first 3, and now I have the last 4. So the next book is The Runner. This is the one I got from Book Outlet very recently. And then these other 3 I got at Second and Charles. Become a Stranger, and Sons from Afar, and 17 Against the Dealer. So those look great, and I'm really excited about those. Now, I found this at one of the used bookstore. Well, it's a store that has new and used books, and I was really excited to find the book, although I really wanted to find a hardcover. I have the rest of the series in hardcover, so this is really kind of a placeholder. If I ever find this book in hardcover, I will get it. This was the only Penderwicks book that I did not own. It is book 2 or 3. Now I can't think which one it is. Anyway, it's one of those. It's the Penderwicks at Point Mouette. I have read this. I really enjoyed it. Actually, it's book 3. Yeah. Anyway, I got it for, actually, I think I got it for $1. So, you know, I couldn't pass it up. I do want to reread the series at some point. I finished reading the last book in January. I did a buddy read with Krista from Books and Jams, and I really, really enjoyed it. So anyway, now I have the whole series, and I'm not going to reread it immediately. In fact, one thing I kind of thought about is maybe doing a read-along of the Penderwicks. If any of you out there would be interested in doing that, maybe next year, definitely not before next year, let me know if you've never read the Penderwicks, or if you would want to read them again. You know, we could read a book a month sometime, maybe starting in May and going, you know, for the next 5 months through the summer, something like that. It's just something I'm thinking about, so let me know if you would be interested in that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Then I also, from Book Outlet, ordered the last book in the Moe and Dale mysteries. I've shown you this in my Book Outlet haul, Law of Finders Keepers. It's book 4 by Sheila Turnage. I've read the first 2. Really, really enjoyed them. Donna, who is one of my subscribers, her channel name is Studio in the Library. She told me that she did finish reading the last 2 of these, I think in March, and really, really enjoyed them. So I told her, I said, don't tell me anything about them. I'm really, really excited. How many times can I say really, really? But I am. I'm repeating myself. Okay. I can't remember where I got this. Did I get this on my trip? Anyway, this is book 3 in the Diaries series by Anna, I think it's Staniszewski. Anyway, I think it's just a 4-book series. I had 1, 2, and 4. I didn't have book 3. I haven't started reading these, but they look really fun. It's about a girl whose mother starts a house cleaning service, and, you know, she's compelled to have to work with her mother, and of course doesn't want to, because what teenager would? So I'm excited about that series now as well. I don't know when I'll start them, and I don't know, but I've got that 3rd book now. Then I have a few Little House related books. I found 2 of these on my trip, and 1 of these at a bookstore north of Orlando. And I think this is only an 8-book series. It was published by Guidepost. It's by T.L. Tedrow. It's called The Days of Laura Ingalls Wilder. I had the first 2 on my shelf, and so at the store up in Orlando, I found book 3, and I think they have other copies. They just weren't in real good condition, so I didn't get any more. But if I can't find them somewhere else, I may go back and pick them up. Anyway, this is book 3, Good Neighbors. And then when I was on my trip, I found books 7 and 8, and book 7 is The Great Debate, and book 8 is Land of Promise. Now, I've been told by one of you guys that these are heavily fictionalized, that, you know, these are just, you know, they took the character, I guess I'm assuming they just took the characters, the Ingalls characters, and just made up stories. So, you know, I'm okay with that as long as I know that going in, and that's fine. Then I picked up this. I was pretty sure I had it, but I didn't have it in hardcover, and I found this at a used bookstore somewhere. It's A Little House Reader, a collection of writings by Laura Ingalls Wilder, and I don't know if this is the same as what I have is the sampler, so it may be a totally different book. I don't really know. I haven't looked down here on my shelf to see if I have this exact book or not, but it's a beautiful hardcover book, and I'm happy to have it. Then I did find another one of the Caroline years that I didn't have. It's Little House in Brookfield. I have 4 of these already, and it's a 7-book series. These and the Martha years and the Charlotte years are all out of print. If you have not ever had a chance yet to write to the publisher, then please do so. We started talking about this back in February when we were getting ready to do the Little House Readathon, Naomi and myself from Naomi's Bookshelf. And we had wanted to and still want to do like a year-long project to read all of these books, starting with the earliest ones and just chronologically reading through all of the Little House books. But they're out of print and really hard to find. So I started a while back trying to just collect them as I would find them. And I still want the publisher to please at least release them on ebook so that, you know, the general public would have an opportunity to read these. And so I will put that down in the description below, the email address, if you never got around to doing it, or if you want to just write it again. If I forget, if you go back to my Little House Readathon announcement, it's in that description as well, but I'll try my best to remember. Anyway, I'm not sure what number this is in the Caroline series. It's one of the earlier ones because she's pretty young here. And then I have one other Little House book that I got at a used bookstore. I didn't know anything about this, but I couldn't resist. This is the Little House Trivia book. It's a small book. See, it fits, you know, in the palm of my hand. And maybe for next year for the I don't want to say Laurathon. That was what the original name was going to be, but then we decided to change it to, or I decided to change it to the Little House Readathon. Anyway, maybe next year for the Little House Readathon, we can play some trivia. So I have not even opened this. I don't even know what the questions are. But anyway, just to flip through, this looks really fun. So I couldn't resist buying this because I had never even known it existed. Okay, so that's all of the Little House books. I have a couple of older books. This one I got on my trip. It just really stood out to me as something I think I would enjoy. And I think someone did comment to that video on my travel vlog that they've read it and thought that it was great. So this is Sweet Creek Holler by Ruth White. I don't know anything about it except that I believe it's set in West Virginia in the 40s. And so that's exciting. Then I also picked up, I believe this is a Newbery winner from, I don't know what year. I don't know. It's one of the older ones. Anyway, it's Rabbit Hill. It's by Robert Lawson, and it's not long at all. Sometimes I get excited when, because I still have 35, I think 35 Newbery winners to read. So when I see that some of the ones I haven't read are really short, that kind of makes me happy because I'd like to finish that project this year, hopefully, if not by next year. And so then I have 3 fantasy books, sci-fi fantasy, and then that will finish up this haul. This I've already listened to on audio, but sorry, it's upside down. But I would like to collect this series by Melissa De La Cruz. It's the Disney Descendants books. It's a 4-book series. This is book 2, Return to the Isle of the Lost. I own 1 and 3 already, and this is book 2. I still don't have book 4, but I found this, I think, at a used bookstore, and I was glad to get it. It was not very expensive. It was about $5. So for a hardcover, that's not too bad. And then these are also hardcovers. This one I only paid, I think, less than $1 on my trip. It is Peter and the Sword of Mercy. It's book 4 or 3. 4 or 3. I don't know now. 4, I think, by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson, and I've read this whole series as well, but these are just gorgeous books, and when I find them in hardcover, I can't resist getting them for my shelf. It is a series that I would reread. And this is a book I've also read, but I have not finished the series. This is the first in a trilogy, and I want to finish reading the trilogy this year. This is Randoms by David Lease, and I thought it was fantastic. This is a really fun science fiction adventure, and I've talked about it before, so I won't spend time here, but I really, really enjoyed it. And you'll hear more about it as I finish reading the other 2 books in the trilogy later this year. So that's it for my most recent acquisitions as far as middle grade books go. Now, what is coming soon is a little bit more of an in-depth look at my middle grade bookshelf. I'm pointing this way because that's the direction to my utility room where I have a card table set up, and one shelf where I keep the majority of my middle grade books is mostly empty. empty. I took everything off and I started putting a few things back on. And while everything is off the shelf, I'm going to be cataloging, making sure all the books are cataloged, and also just doing some videos about what I own. Also, I needed to kind of pull everything off to pull out what I wanted to read this month. So I've already pulled off several Gary Paulson books and some Sharon Creech books, because those are the author binges that I'm doing this month as far as middle grade books go. And if you're interested, stay tuned. So there will be more videos coming in regards to my middle grade bookshelves. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope you will leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you've read any of these books, or if you're interested in reading these books, or if you would like to do a Penderwicks read-along, maybe next year or sometime in the future. Let me know that as well. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.